Welcome to Module 4, Lesson 3. And in this lesson, I'm going to talk about how you can create a foolproof plan for executing your content calendar. Creating content can be a daunting task, so I've tried to distill this process down into what you can be doing on a yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily basis. And I'm going to talk you through that right now. To start out with, once a year, you're going to want to map out your content. We did that in the previous lesson, so you should be good to go with diving into your quarterly steps. On a quarterly basis, there are a few things you want to do. The first one is finalize any themes and key dates. So you're going to want to look at your calendar on a quarterly basis and make sure that you know what's coming. Be realistic about what you are going to need to do to create your content for the next quarter. Creating really good quality content takes a ton of time. So make sure you quantify that time, the time it's going to take, and schedule it. Get it written down in your planner. That's a big rock. We've all heard the big rocks analogy. Put the big rocks in first. Creating your content is a big rock on your schedule. Also quarterly, you're going to want to look ahead to see if there's any big launch or a series that you may need to start early on or maybe start teasing behind the scenes. Now, on a monthly basis, you're going to want to review previous month metrics, and you're also going to be wanting to make sure you have those time slots for content creation on your calendar. Your goal is always to be a month ahead. So if it's March, you need to be planning content for April. And this is where also on a monthly basis, you're going to want to finalize the copy for the current month and create any graphics or add any last minute details to graphics for things that need to post. Here's a pro tip, and I'll talk about this more in the next lesson. Don't be afraid to start teasing content as you are creating it. This is a great way to add some spontaneous behind the scenes stuff to your social media feed. On a weekly basis, you really need to start focusing on execution. I would encourage you to pick a day of the week and schedule out your post for the following week. I use my planner to write everything I'm going to post on a daily basis down. If I don't post it, I have grace for myself. I'm not going to beat myself up over that, and I'm going to remind myself, positive self-talk, you guys know I'm into that. I'm going to remind myself that it's okay and I can always start again tomorrow. On a weekly basis, you should be pulling a good chunk of your content from what you've already created to plug into your post. You can add any finishing touches. One way that I love to do this, I personally use two apps. We'll link to them below. One is called Planoly and the other is called Plan. So check those out in the links. And on a daily basis, also make sure that you are double checking to make sure that posts are going out as planned. You want to make sure that there's a call to action on every post. So this could be like a question, and sometimes these are time sensitive. You always respond to what's happening in the world around you, and the call to action can often relate to that. Make sure you're focusing on engagement, and then also don't hesitate to post any filler. So if something happens during the day and you get a great picture of it and you can add that to your feed, don't stop, don't wait, don't hesitate to add it, do your best to add it. Another thing that you can do, I'll throw this in here really quickly, is you can pre-write some captions. So very often your captions don't have to completely and totally tie back in with the image that you're posting with it. So sitting down as part of your content plan and pre-writing some captions is going to help you be prepared when you get that perfect photo to post it right away. A final note, I want to talk to you guys about consistency. Most entrepreneurs are pretty creative. As entrepreneurs, one of the things I think we all struggle with is consistency. So I want to give you a few tips for combating inconsistency. One way you can combat inconsistency is to reduce frequency. So if you are having trouble posting very consistently, reduce the number of posts that you're requiring of yourself to post. Another way to combat inconsistency is to find a team member, a writer, an editor, a graphic designer, somebody who's going to help keep you on track with your posting. You can even turn a percentage of your posting over to someone else to keep it going. There's also the idea of creating a series. So I've done this a lot where I sit down and I create multiple days of something and I have an image for each day. I don't always post every day in a series, but the idea is the content is there and I can. The other thing that you can do to combat inconsistency is prepare yourself. You need a plan. Writing this stuff down will help you get the consistency of actually doing it. So I would encourage you now to sit down and do as much of the content creation as you can. batch it. You can write all of the headlines all at one time. You can write all of the bullet points for all of your blog posts all at one time. You can create all of the graphics at one time or work with your graphic designer to do that. But batch it so that you're not switching gears from one task to another to help streamline your workflow. That is how you execute your plan. Remember that you have a plan, but you also have to do the work. So if you're ever struggling getting motivated, just ask yourself what the next step you can take. And it can be so tiny, so minuscule. It doesn't have to be a big earth-shattering action to help you make progress on executing your social media plan. As always, if you have questions, you can click the link below to send us a question on our form or post your question over in Slack where we will be engaging in discussions. See you in the next video.